So just to take everybody back, 2007 was 6 years after 9/11. It was 3 years after the CIA 9/11 Commission, or the US government 9/11 Commission, came out, which basically said that everything CIA had been doing up to 2001 was wrong. They were focused in a Cold War era. They were not focused on terrorism. They were focused on, Ivy League Caucasian graduates as being the next generation of CIA officer, instead of diversifying for a diversified world. So without a doubt, they were looking for different people. They were looking for young people, colored people, LGBTQ plus people who could connect with the modern day threat around the world. And then I think on top of being brown and ethnic, I also came with a huge government file because I had been part of the Air Force since I was 18 years old. So they knew everything about my health, everything about my mental health, everything about my, academic, athletic performance in college. They knew everything about me. And I think that's part of why my onboarding process took about 9 months, where the typical onboarding process takes about 18 months.
How do they train you to become a CIA agent?
So a lot of the training part is classified still, so I can't talk about it. But there's a school that we go to. It's fairly publicly known, but I can't acknowledge what it is and isn't. And we go there for many months. And we basically were pulled out of everyday life and we're put into a controlled, simulated world. And inside that simulated world, they kind of control what's happening around us. So if you can imagine, almost like going from being taken out of your apartment where you live, and now you're put into a different apartment, but the apartment that you're put into is part of a giant game. And somebody else controls all the game. So they control the news that's on the TV, and they control the cars that are on the road, and they control everything except the weather, basically, so that they can create multiple different types of scenarios where you exercise the skills that they taught you, from driving to first response, first aid response, to lying, living and working under alias identities, all that stuff. So you're put into a very controlled environment for a long period of time where they can test all of your tradecraft that you're taught.
It's very expensive. It must be very expensive for them to train a CIA agent.
Right. That's why they train us in batches. So there's generally 2 to 3 batches a year that go through different types of training. And there's different classifications of officers too, right? So your analysts are different than your technical officers, who are different than your field officers.